Hello, everyone. This is Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. Welcome to episode 1, where we're going to talk about Motorhead at length and probably ad nauseum, unless you happen to be a fan, in which case you're in luck. With me here is my brother Adrian, coming to me from another state. How you doing, Adrian?
All right.
That's a sharp shirt you've got on there.
Oh, thank you. One of my favorites.
I like the hat too. It sort of resembles Lemmy. I don't know if you noticed, but I got my Lemmy back there, and he's actually on top of that box that you made for me.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a gift box that Adrian designed and gave me for Christmas. So
Yeah, I'm also an artist.
but I'm more on the music side, of course. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the first time that either one of us stumbled across Motorhead was when I picked up No Remorse,
Yes.
in
I picked up
1984.
a European pressing of No Remorse.
Yeah, I've got it here somewhere.
I've since got the American release, and some of the songs sound f***ed up because some of the live songs
Mhm.
are recorded in the studio, and some of the studio songs are live.
This doesn't have any lettering on it at all.
Well,
So that's interesting. So it actually has different takes of the stuff. Is that right?
possibly. It's just that, for example, on the one that I have, the song Bomber
Hmm.
is the studio version. And on the one you have, it's the live version. I think
Oh,
it might even be from No Sleep Till Hammersmith, but I'm not absolutely
yeah,
sure about
it
that.
is. It is from the Hammersmith, as a matter of fact. Yeah, so I mean, like, this is a real bronze record, and I bought this in Norway on the week of release. I had seen Iron Fists, the video for Iron Fist, which is pretty funny. They look particularly ragged and haggard. And like Lemmy's got the snarl, and he's got the bugging eye, and he's singing like that. And of course, I'd never seen anybody sing up to a microphone before. So
Oh,
because he sings like this,
that's a good way to sing too, I found.
Yeah, it's actually not bad because it clears your throat. I mean, there's a clear shot from your lungs to the microphone. He doesn't have
Yeah,
to go around the L in your neck and all.
yeah.
So I mean, this started it, and I loved this record. I didn't actually know what was on it. I had only heard Iron Fist, and I saw it in the store, and I thought, oh, great. And so the first track on side one is Ace of Spades, and that's how I heard it, was just bringing the record home. It was the first time I heard Ace of Spades. So that was pretty cool. But they started off in '75. Lemmy had just gotten out of Hawkwind. He'd been
Yes.
kicked out because I guess, well, he said he was doing the wrong drugs. He said he's kind of
That might actually be it.
he was a speed freak, and everybody else in that band, I think, was into psychedelics or something.
Organic stuff, yeah.
So this isn't this came out a little later, but this is the first thing they recorded. It came out on a record called On Parole, but it's really just the first album almost. I mean, it's 5 tracks out of the 8 that ended up on the real first Motorhead album, and the rest is pretty interesting. A little bit of it's punkish. They have the other guys sing some of these.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
got
a few people who did a crossover between metal heads and punks.
oh yeah,
I guess they were kind of like I don't know, like the long-haired band that punks were allowed to like.
yeah. They're like the one band everybody can agree on. Is
Yeah,
it's kind of what I was thinking.
yeah. I wouldn't even say it's really metal either. I'd say it's just hard rock and roll. It's
Yeah,
classic rock and roll.
yeah, with a driving bass. That's what I thought. So this
Yeah.
was the actual Motorhead. I mean, they've got this guy who they've named Snaggletooth on every album cover, and
Snaggletooth the War Pig.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, this isn't bad. I just picked it up recently. It's both of those are very unpolished records. That's got the original Iron Horse on it,
Oh, excellent.
and then they got lucky, and they got signed by Bronze and got better production and put out Overkill.
Yeah. Overkill. Yeah, I recognize that.
Yeah, this is actually a 3-record set with 2 live albums on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, yeah, it's wonderful. It's vinyl. Otherwise, you know, I think right now on Amazon it's only like $40 for this, and I highly recommend it because the show is great. And the show,
I'm going shopping after this.
yeah, Why not? But the show actually comes from the tour for Overkill, so it's from March '79.
All right.
Pardon me. So this is great to have.
Yeah.
They follow that up with Bomber. They did another 3-record set for this. I think you can also get this one for $40. They did the same thing. This one's November '79 is the live show.
Yeah.
2 discs. So that's a very nice thing.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't listened a lot to those particular two, but I mean, I've listened a lot to like No Remorse is probably my favorite album. I'd say it's a very good starter album.
Yeah.
That or Ace of Spades or No Sleep for Hammersmith.
Yeah. Yeah. All of that stuff really with Phil Taylor on drums.
Good. Yeah.
Fast Eddie
I
Clark.
think any of those 3 albums are the ones that I mentioned.
This is
Are
Ace
good
of
ones.
Spades.
Ace of Spades. Yeah.
Yep. And this one's got a show from December of '81, so it's a little bit after the Hammersmith shows, but it's a 2-record set.
And 2-record set.
That's right.
Ace
That's
of
right.
Spades. Wow.
And I should just mention all of these things I've only bought recently because, like you, back then No Remorse was all I needed. It's a 2-record set full of B-sides and things you can't find anywhere else, as well as being a greatest hits collection that Lemmy put together himself. And that's really, if you're a casual Motorhead fan, that's really all you need. Although I don't know what the American version of No Remorse contains, but I know that the European one's real nice.
So yeah, the one I have, I think I have a CD version, so that might even, I think that has some bonus songs on it, but it's just that some of the live songs are recorded and some of the recorded songs are live, I guess. That's the main difference between the European and American releases.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I should mention back then it was just No Remorse for me. It was just No Remorse, you know. And then Orgasmatron came out. I bought that one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's not bad. This is 1986. They've got 4 members. They've got 2 guitar players because Fast Eddie left after trying to produce their next release. I'll talk about that in a moment. But anyway, they have 2 guitarists replacing the guitarist. And then Phil Taylor left. I'll get to that story in a minute.
Yeah.
But this is a pretty nice record. But that was it. That's all I had for ever since 30 years. And it's only in about the last 6 months that I've started getting really interested in them again and buying them up. I've noticed that a lot of these albums are not really, I mean, except for those that I just showed you, are really not available anymore on vinyl. Some of them aren't even available on CD, you know? So, well, here, before I get there, I don't actually have the vinyl for this one, but that's the Iron Fist album, which came after.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know Lemmy wasn't happy with this one, and I'm kind of holding off because it's the lower album. It's the lesser album of the original trio. This is the one if you can only afford one, don't get this one. Get one of the other ones, you know. But Fast Eddie Clark, the guitar player, he produced this. It came out sounding a little sterile, and he quit the band, which Lemmy said was his general modus operandi. I would quit the band every few months. And he said, okay, come on back. And this time they just didn't ask him back. And so they got Brian Robertson and Thin Lizzy, and now he's the guitar player. So
there's also, was Phil Campbell there back then?
Not at that time, no.
All right.
No, what happened was right after Iron Fist, Fast Eddie was out the door and never to return. And then they brought in
They're still talking about the 3rd record that they released, I guess, right?
Well, Iron Fist is the 5th one.
Oh, the 5th record.
Yeah. Here, I can show you because I actually have this CD box set that I got of all those albums.
Yeah.
And I just wanted them on vinyl, and they sound different on vinyl, I can tell you. So we had, oh, that's right. That's right. You know what? Motorhead is the first one, and that's not in this set. So let me just show you. Well, you know what it looks like. So it's the Motorhead album. And the No Remorse, which was basically out the door. Oh, by the way, the Motorhead album, that first one, that was recorded right after what was supposed to be their farewell gig in '77. They were going to call it quits because they just weren't getting anywhere after recording that album, that earlier one, No on Parole, and the the record company's like, I don't think we're going to release this, because at the time, and it is a pretty dirty sounding album. I like it, but I could see where they might take that position, but that album, they had their gig, and they had been promised that the gig was going to be taped by this guy who had a studio, and I've forgotten his name, which is sacrilege on my part. But he said, "I'll tell you what. After the show, he actually went to them and said, backstage, why don't you come on over to the studio and lay down a single? I'll let you use it. It's open this weekend." So they went from the gig straight to the studio, and they proceeded to record 8 songs. And then went back, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And so he said, "Okay, you can come back and finish up, finish the vocals and all that." And that's how the first Motorhead record came out. Wow. That's what that is. So pretty interesting. And then it did just well enough that they could continue. So that came out, and then the next one was Overkill. This, if you're only going to have one, this is not a bad choice. I mean, other than No Remorse, you want a studio album. Then we had Bomber. And gee, what did I do with my Ace of Spades? Is it up my sleeve? No. There it is. Yeah. And then we got Iron Fist.
That is one of the ones that I listen to a lot, Ace of Spades.
Ace of Spades. There's a lot of great stuff on here. Love Me Like a Reptile. We Are the Road Crew. Chase is Better Than the Catch. Jailbait. You covered some of these too, right?
I did a long time ago. Just somehow I heard, or I somehow got a chance to use Dad's studio.
Yeah, I think he was on.
He was on Walker Street or something.
He was on like an island in the Caribbean or something. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, Iron Fist, and then we got Another Perfect Day.
Perfect Day.
Now this came out right.
This is their worst album.
Not at all. I think this is a very good album. I like this album. Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Maybe he didn't say that. I don't know. I thought he did.
A lot of people didn't like it. Well, I don't think Lemmy liked it initially, but he still played some of the songs off it all the way into his 30th anniversary gig and all that.
I have a show where he plays "I Got Mine" and "Dancing on Your Grave."
Yeah, that's right. So that's good. Yeah,
both from that album.
So this came out. He said nobody liked it. And he also wasn't happy that Brian Robertson took like an entire day for a solo, and he'd be like hanging around the studio saying, "When are you going to be done with your guitar parts?" And, the
answer was kind of harrowing to get the thing recorded and everything.
Yeah, it wasn't a fun experience. I think after that, he regretted asking him to come in. And he only came in because Phil Taylor was a big Thin Lizzy fan and really lobbied to have Brian Robertson come in. But that ended up being the one record. I think and the Motorhead fans didn't like Brian Robertson because he tended to wear kind of the equivalent of ballet slippers on stage. There were these 80s shoes that were really chic at the time. It was like the thing, like the kid in the junior high school that's got the money. It's like those shoes on him. And the crowd's just going, "This is not Motorhead. We can't deal with this." So that was an issue. So they got... And then, and the record label hated it. So that's when Lemmy put together the No Remorse. And then there took a little time to put the band back together because Brian was out. And then Phil Taylor, being the Thin Lizzy fan he is, thought he'd just follow Brian out and they'd start a band. And I think they did, but it just didn't last, So they went through.
So I guess they got a new drummer for the Orgasmatron album, which came out after No Remorse, I think.
Yep. Yeah, they had Pete Gill on that.
They had Pete, who?
His name's Pete Gill, and he's the guy standing next to Lemmy.
Oh, all right. The guy in the middle?
Yeah, this guy. Yeah. That's Wurzel. He was kind of the second guitarist, and this is that's Phil Campbell right there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In fact, Phil Campbell plays on No Remorse. And
actually,
he played on the 4 new songs like Snaggletooth and Killed by Death.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I thought it was Phil Campbell on guitar and Wurzel.
Yes, yeah. So it goes back a ways. So and Phil Campbell was in the band for the rest of the band's life.
Exactly. Yeah, I've got that DVD, Stage Fright. It's from 2004, and Phil's on there, and it's just Phil and Lemmy and Mickey D on drums.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they were for about the last 20 years or something.
Bill him as the best drummer in the world.
Yeah, 20 years. Holy cow. It was 20 years. Yeah, he was pretty good.
He's very good.
So I did skip over No Sleep, which came out actually right after No Sleep Till Hammersmith, right after Ace of Spades. And the only reason I haven't gotten that on vinyl yet is I'm kind of hoping that they're going to do something like another 3 album remaster, like they did for these other albums. I'd like to see if it's going to come out on 3 records instead of 1. Because that's fun. And it's not just records. You open this thing up, and got all these pages in here.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and they got all the lyrics, nice clear photos. It just goes on and on and on. And the records are heavyweight. So it's a great deal. I mean, I can't believe it's so cheap right now. I don't know why. I think this is actually like 50 or 55, but the others are 40.
Oh my!
Yeah, so pretty wild. So that was about the time that I tuned out, was after Orgasmatron, in 1986. Like I liked it. I think Rock and Roll came out, and I heard some of that and wasn't particularly interested. And then after that, what came after Rock? Hold on a second. I've got my handy thing here to look at. Can you still see me?
I can still see you. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Rock and Roll. That's right. So after Rock and Roll, they didn't make another album for 4 years, and it was 1916. I think I heard it because you had it at one point, and it may have been back in the day, because you continued to buy a couple of things, I think, after I had kind of lost interest at the time.
In let's see, in '92, I must have bought other records like between '84 and '92. But in '92, I started. I bought March or Die, which is not considered one of their better albums. It's the one with the duet with Ozzy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice guy. And,
yeah. I actually heard a story about that.
oh.
Well, he, Lemmy wrote 4 songs on that Ozzy record that came out at the same
No
time.
More Tears. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the song Hellraiser is on both those albums, both Lemmy's album and Ozzy's album.
Okay. Yeah, I see. I don't have that album because, yes, the reviews have not sounded very good. And what I've heard I was like, well, I'll wait,
I like it. It's very different it's not your typical Motorhead, but I like it.
Okay. Maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, it stands okay
it's always
its own.
It's good to give them a fair shot,
Yeah.
So, so I was tuned out, but I just got this pretty recently. I noticed it was something like $5 on
Oh wow.
Amazon or something. So I said, oh, okay, I'll go get that. And then yes, March or Die, that was their major label thing, and it didn't really go that well.
I think sometime after that, they did Overnight Sensation. I don't know if that was the next album after that. But,
no, the next one was Bastards, actually, and I've got one of those.
I've got that one.
Oh, that's good.
I've got it on tape.
Oh yeah.
I managed to, before I got the new computer, I couldn't use my phone link anymore. Before that, I managed to digitize Bastards on the iTunes.
Nice. Well, good. Yeah, this thing for a long time wasn't available. It was the record label. It was the only one they did for this record label. I think it was ZYX or something. And they didn't promote it, and they didn't really release it outside of Germany, which is where the label is. So, and it was like that for years. So it's only recently. Now you can actually find this on Amazon, which is nice. And I'm really happy with it. This is probably one of my favorites after No Remorse. It's really down to this or Inferno.
I'll have to listen to it more. I've listened to it a few times, and it's definitely got some good songs on there.
Yeah, I like side 2 in particular. It's just up and down. The whole thing is.
I think I bought the tape because it had Burner on it, and I'd seen the video for that.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's a good one. Yep. And On Your Feet or On Your Knees is a great song. Devil.
Heard of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just loaded with great stuff. This is worth a listen. A lot of these records, if you put in Motorhead album title and then album, just the word album after, not full album, just album, and search. A lot of times YouTube has it right there, ready for listening. And so I recommend that. Yeah, Bastards didn't even chart. It didn't do anything. It just sank off the earth. Next one was Sacrifice, which is kind of a
that's a good one.
yeah, it's pretty good. This
Fun.
one's very thrashy. So
Yeah.
this one actually is closer to kind of a thrash band than what Motorhead normally is, but it's a good record. I mean, it's pretty solid. I don't know if anybody would know these songs, but I know some of them get played from time to time. But after that comes Overnight Sensation from '96. And this is the one, yes, he's got no mustache. People don't know what to make of that. But
I've seen one video from that album. I don't believe a word, and he's like wearing this zoot suit or something.
yeah.
He's
Well,
dressed up like
check
this
that out.
mobster or something, and he's singing, playing the bass, and it was pretty cool. But it's not what you expect from Motorhead, but I mean, it was
Yeah,
something different. Yeah.
that song is a bit of a departure for sure. But this is a solid record. In fact, I played this again today. Just I played a few Motorhead records today. I always a good excuse for a Motorhead record on the turntable. I'll jump at it. But this is really good too. This is probably my third favorite after No Remorse. After that was released after No Remorse. Well, yeah. See, I don't have the next one after that. It was called Snakebite Love, and they were really overextended when they put that thing together. When they wrote it, when they recorded it, and none of them were happy with it. So, a lot of fans like it, so go figure. But they say steer clear of that record. I mean, Motorhead says, it's not really our best work, So, but I may get it someday anyway. Just because.
Which record is that again?
That was called Snakebite Love.
Oh, Snakebite Love. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I've heard that title before.
Like I say, some fans like it. I've listened to it, and it's okay. It's not really memorable to me per se, and which I can't really say about many of their records. Most of these records I like top to bottom, but yes, Snakebite Love seems like maybe a miss instead of a hit. The next one is called Hammered. Now, this record actually, I'm still warming up to this one. This one's kind of like, it's got a lot of decent material on it, but as opposed, comparing it to these other records, it's like maybe I'll put it kind of middle to sort of lower middle, but it's not bad.
One of your favorites.
Yeah, and it could be I just need more time with it, but yeah, and they wrote this right after September.
That album.
What's that?
I don't think I've ever heard of that album, Hammered.
It came out. They wrote it right after September 11, and as a matter of fact, I think they were already in the studio or scheduled to be in the studio, around then, and so they came in and wrote the stuff, and it's all kind of there's some kind of theme in there that kind of has to do with a lot of philosophy about death that's kind of beyond what they normally do when they talk about death. Motorhead is also one of those bands that really likes war songs about
Lemmy is a war history buff.
Yeah, pretty straight up.
I should say he was.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Now here's the next one that came out, Inferno. This might be my favorite. It's down to this or Bastards, and this one, it's about 48 minutes. So it came out as a 2-record set, but each side is only about 12 or 13 minutes. But that's okay. I mean, it sounds fantastic, and it was just a little over this. I think it was like $30 or something. A lot of these records are getting hard to find on vinyl. Some are also hard to find on CD. That's kind of why I started to buy them up, because I realized that it looks like the supply is way down, and maybe it's not coming back. I don't know. So I thought, well, I better get some while I want, because I want them, obviously. I can't really sit around and, hope it'll be there later. And I had the means for the moment, so that's good, and I'm very grateful for that. But so the one that came out after Inferno was this live album. And I've skipped a few live albums. Motorhead is also notorious for putting out a ton of live albums. This is probably their sixth one, but it's the first one I happen to have, in my own possession. This one, yes, at Hammersmith again, but 30 years later. This is their 30-year anniversary record.
Oh, wow. All right.
And it sounds pretty good. And it's funny, again, it's a lot of LPs, but only 3 songs a side, so it's like 13 minutes a side. So it's really not much bigger than like a generous 2-record set, but it's on 4 discs. The next one that I have, there was another one that came out in 06, but I don't have it yet. Let me just quick see if I can find out what it was called. It was called Kiss of Death. And Kiss of Death, that's,
I wonder how often they used to release albums, because it seems like there's a lot of stuff I never even heard of.
yeah. Oh, they put out 22 records.
I'm a pretty serious Motorhead fan, I think, too, because I've got a lot of their albums. I've got a few of their videos.
Yeah.
Videos of their shows.
They made 22 albums, and I don't think that even counts On Parole, the first one I showed, and it doesn't count live albums, right? I mean, it's just, like here's another album in 2008, Motorhead. And if you've seen the film Lemmy, the documentary, you hear him in the studio at Dave Grohl's studio singing one of these songs, teach you how to sing the blues.
Sing the blues, yeah.
And Rock Out is on here too, which is actually a hilarious song.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. This is a fairly solid album. I mean, I wouldn't
I won't say how he announces the song when he plays it live, but
right, exactly. Oh yeah, Lemmy's quite a character, and let me see here now. The next one I have, yeah, it actually is the next one they put out, and this is called "The World Is Yours." And this,
yeah,
2010, I believe. Maybe it was 2011, but yeah, this is a pretty solid record. This is pretty nice. I'd probably put this fourth after No Remorse.
Oh, okay. I should probably listen to the actual album, because I think I have the live tour or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's right. As a matter of fact, I have the CDs of that, or one of them. Like I said, they love putting out live albums. Well, they put out 2 and this is only one of them. This is volume 1.
I have the first one.
Oh yeah, this is the first one too. Sadly, I may have to go out and get the second one at some point. Because it's just so much fun. It's hard to stop buying them once you start buying them, because they put you in such a good mood. They invigorate you. They make you want to go out and conquer the world, and you don't even want to just beat somebody up, because that's not really the vibe. Even though it's battle songs and
yeah,
it doesn't. Yeah, it's not out to make you aggressive. It's just really great release music. Yeah, Lemmy was a pretty stand-up guy.
You get aggressive too, but be aggressive by I don't know, go on an exercise bike or treadmill or something.
Well, it's kind of more a commentary, like those jerks, they're holding us down, or they're gonna, they're not gonna roll their tank over us or whatever. It's something like that. It's like, I'm the underdog and I'm not gonna take it. There's a lot of that. I think that's what I kind of like about it. And it's not about, burn the neighborhood down. No, it's not that at all. Lemmy was actually quite the liberal.
I don't know if Motorhead ever actually promoted that kind of thing.
No, they didn't. This was the next one, and it's called Aftershock. This is actually a special edition that includes a live CD from the tour.
I've got that too.
Yeah. It's good stuff. This is the second to last album they made, so this is their 21st album, and it's pretty solid. And Lemmy sounds pretty good on it. He still sounds pretty engaged. But this is just before things go really downhill. And now we get to the last album, which is and there were several versions of this. This is the red vinyl version, but it's Bad Magic is the name of this one.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
And the XXXX is for their 40th anniversary. So 75 to 2015,
Yeah.
And it's a good record. They've got a great Sympathy for the Devil on here as the last song, which seems very appropriate. But you can hear in his voice that he's not doing very well, and that, it's not sounding good. But still, he's got the same thing, like, you're not going to take me down. So even though even though he's having trouble, he's like, yeah, it's still pure Lemmy, you know.
Yeah.
He's like, it's like he's got a sword stuck through him, I think, as somebody put it, you know. But he's still up. He's like, yeah, and I'm taking you with me, you know.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I might mention about Lemmy and Motorhead, I just got this. I haven't read it yet, but this is an authoritative. Well, it's his autobiography, really, you know. But he wrote it in 1998. What was it? However, 2002, excuse me. But then it was updated after his death and includes a lot more information. So I'm looking forward to reading this. From what I've read of this so far, I did read a little bit of it, and it looks really, really interesting. So just putting it out there.
Yeah.
So that's my collection. It's pretty interesting that somebody would be able to have a career that was pretty much all underground all the time, except for the very beginning, where they were doing okay on the UK charts, but after the Brian Robertson affair with Another Perfect Day, that was about where things started to really head downhill. Orgasmatron charted, rock and roll kind of charted, but that, you know, and then 1916 was the comeback, and then March or Die was supposed to be the big moment, you know, after he'd penned the Ozzy stuff, and it wasn't at all. Nobody liked the Experience, and then they started making great records right when absolutely nobody was buying them. Like Bastards is a great record. Overnight Sensation is a great record. Sacrifice is a pretty darn good record.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, anybody that's interested in what they did in the later days, Inferno, Bastards, Overnight Sensation, Sacrifice, and The World is Ours, or The World Is Yours. It's called The World Is Yours. Those five.
It's interesting. I was just starting to think of the. Well, I've got something like I think 3 of the Hawkwind albums or something like that.
Oh yeah,
they're all Hawkwind albums with Lemmy.
yeah. Okay.
I think. You know, there's the Warriors on the Edge of Time.
Yeah.
For some reason, I think that was the last one Lemmy was on.
I think you're right. I looked into that too at one point, and I think you're right. In fact, I've got a Hawkwind little box set that's got some things in it.
Warriors on the Edge of Time. There was also one with Space Rock from London, and one with.
I think he's on this one here, which is.
Which one is that?
Hull of the Mountain Grill.
Oh.
I think he's on that.
He could be on that.
You know what he's on for sure is Space Ritual. That's this one.
Oh yeah.
And that's a pretty good record, by the way. And
I'll have to write that down.
Space Ritual. Yeah.
I'm going shopping after this.
This is really good, but I think it might have only been in the box set. Greasy Truckers was originally a 2-record set that was kind of a various artists thing. But this is just the entire Hawkwind set, so which is way better. All right, well, why don't we wrap for tonight, and we can talk over the week about what we might want to do. Or, you know, people out there who are watching this video, you can always leave a comment and let us know what you'd like us to cover next.
All right.
All right, folks.
See you guys later.
Yeah, for now, we'll see you. Peace.